Within Region 12 or Sorsogon is a growing, highly urbanized city. Strategically located in the Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East ASEAN growth area, is a gateway of the South. The tuna capital of the Philippines, General Santos City. Gensan is a port city located at the southernmost portion of Mindanao, with a total land area of 53,606 hectares. Being the tuna capital of the Philippines, about 250,000 metric tons of fish were landed in General Santos Fishport Complex, and more than 80% were tuna. The General Santos Airport is one of the largest airports in the country, with a total land area of 600 hectares. Gensan has 68 public elementary schools and preschools, 26 public secondary schools, 133 private schools, 184 daycare centers, 8 hospitals, and 41 public health facilities. The city's vision describes its aspirations for livability and prosperity, where all sectors of society are active participants and drivers for sustainable development. It is reflective of the desired state for an enhanced quality of life, where climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction is of primary consideration. With a population of 594,000 and growing at the rate of 1.91% each year, population is projected to hit about 954,000 by the year 2040. Like many urbanized areas, General Santos City's city core has been growing outwards, spreading rapidly. Settlements in rural areas grew faster than in the urban areas. Agricultural and forest lands were rapidly converted to settlement areas. The city's climate may be slowly evolving. Rainfall is more intense and drought is longer and more frequent. General Santos City faces some development constraints due to climate change and natural hazards. Volcanic eruption. The city is threatened by the presence of 2 volcanoes found in the nearby municipalities of Palomolok and Tibuli, which are Mount Matutum and Mount Parker. The city has no jurisdictional control over the land uses on the higher slopes of Mount Matutum and Mount Parker, and there's a settlement encroachment on high-risk areas. Illegal activities such as timber poaching and charcoal production were discovered. Landslide. Conflicting issues in large portions of affected barangays. Settlement encroachment on slopes 18% and above are among the key issues. Drought. Prime agricultural lands are illegally converted to non-agricultural uses. Flood. Traffic congestion. Proliferation of informal settlers, inadequate parks, and lack of parking spaces are caused by overconcentration of urban development activities in the city center. There's limited space for school site and health facilities expansion. Earthquake liquefaction. There are areas in General Santos City where saturated or partially saturated soil substantially loses strength and stiffness due to earthquake liquefaction. Storm surge. Illegal reclamation for communities and industries expansion were uncovered. Mangroves and other coastal marine resources and ecotourism could be damaged. Sea level rise. Encroachment of informal settlements on the legal easements of major bodies of water is identified as high risk to sea level rise, flooding, storm surge, and landslide. The city analyzed some key land use issues and concerns and came up with spatial strategies and policies through a ridge-to-rift planning approach, starting from the forest lands towards the pasture lands, agricultural lands, urban settlements, and the coastal zones. From concept to realization, the city will co-manage land uses in the protected forest, regulate human activities, and strictly disallow settlement expansion. A 1-kilometer wide buffer zone will be provided at the edge of the protected forest. Then limited agroforestry shall be allowed at the production forest, and areas for ecotourism activities shall be identified. All prime agricultural lands shall be delineated, preserved, and protected. Farm-to-market roads, facilities for storage, processing and packaging of agricultural products shall be made available. New growth areas shall be identified, delineated, then socio-economic activities shall be dispersed. A more comprehensive transport and traffic management plan shall be well-designed and implemented, including the provision of parking spaces, setback, and loading and unloading areas. For effective linkage of industries to the production areas and the market, the circulatory system will be improved through the construction of bypass roads and middle ring roads. More developments shall be realized in major facilities such as the airport, seaport, and fishport. Like a city within a city, planned unit development zones shall be developed with functions such as expanded industrial complex and planned residential complex, airport complex, and new government center and green central business district, complemented by the Queen Tuna Park and Pioneer Park. The Sarangani Baywalk will serve as a tourism site. The nurturing of the mangrove forest shall be one of the city's ecotourism initiatives. And to promote ecological balance in the heart of the city, the Silway River Esplanade will be another ecotourism site. To promote decongestion of the urban core while maximizing land use and direct new development towards identified growth areas, the city will be defined by 7 development and investment areas. The Central Development Area, East Coast Development Area, Economic Housing Development Area, Agri-Industrial Development Area, Northern Highlands Development Area, Mid-Coast Development Area, and Airport or Southern Development Area. With a sound concept plan well designed, the city came up with some major spatial programs and projects. Starting in the Northern Highlands Development Area, forests above 50% slope would eternally be preserved, and the 1-kilometer buffer zone shall be conserved within 30 and 50% slope, allowing limited agroforestry activities. Existing institutional facilities located within danger zones shall be relocated to relatively safe and low-risk areas of the city. Tourism-related programs shall comply with guidelines on ecotourism planning and management in protected areas. With thorough planning, more projects would be put into action, such as multipurpose dams, water supply upgrade, and a bypass road. In the Economic Housing Development Area, there are numerous development projects to be implemented. But while putting these projects into action, the city government shall ensure that all residential areas are climate-proof, resilient, well-prepared for any form of disaster, located away from sources of air, land, and water pollution, and invest in technologies that enhance disaster mitigation and preparedness. In the Agri-Industrial Development Area, activities shall be limited to agroforestry, livestock raising, crop production, post-harvest activities, and inland fisheries production. Agricultural lands shall be protected from reclassification and conversion to non-agricultural uses. Agricultural production shall be encouraged away from high-risk areas and adopt sustainable agroforestry. Natural waterways shall also be well protected. In the East Coast Development Area, mangroves and other coastal marine resources shall be preserved and protected. All projects shall follow the Sarangani Bay Protected Seascape Management Plan. Together with other development projects, farm tourism shall be promoted. In the Mid-Coast Development Area, all proponents of large-scale development and improvement plans shall be subject for review and approval of the city government. The city shall establish a hierarchy of network of parks and green open spaces and enhance waste management. Planned unit development such as the new government center, plus other residential, industrial, and commercial projects shall be sensibly put in place. In the Airport and Southern Development Area, the airport complex shall be redeveloped by modernizing the airport terminal, expanding cargo facilities, and adding a second runway. More facilities shall be provided for business, leisure, and tourism while improving on transport system and utilities. The city government shall review for approval of proponents of industrial, commercial, residential, and tourism development projects. And last but not the least, in the Central Development Area, a walkable government center project shall be developed right in the heart of the city. The Silway River Corridor shall be redeveloped. And just like in any other development projects, informal settlers exposed to high-risk hazards shall be prioritized for relocation and resettlement, especially the ones in the coastal zones. More projects shall be implemented such as the Queen Tuna Park development and street corridor improvements such as sidewalks, parking spaces, bike lanes, pedestrian lanes, and waiting areas. The local public route transport plan shall be further developed. With all these strategic plans and projects, governed by a visionary, responsive, and transparent leadership, well thought out development policies and regulations shall be strictly implemented for an efficient, sustainable land and water use plan.